And so tell me about Dogen's temple. What was it like? I'm sure that's a special place for you. And tell me about what it's like to be in a place and the idea of what pilgrimage means for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yesterday was the Memorial Day for Dogen Zenji and Keizan Zenji, the two founders of Soto Zen in Japan. And so I have a lot of tenderness right now. And for me, before pilgrimage is really lineage. And so I think about how important lineage is as a way of reminding that so many people have come before us who have dedicated their lives and are impacting us right now. And it's so amazing to really consider that, almost 90 generations of teachers have come before this generation. And so to really drop into that level of appreciation. And then to me, the natural thing is I feel like I've received so much. And my life has been changed and transformed by my own entry into it. And so to go back to Japan as we've been doing, we've been invited for a couple of years to go back to Japan to teach our flavor of contemplative care, which is grounded in Soto Zen, which comes from Japan. So it's kind of amazing, these two monks from New York going and teaching clinicians about, so that feels actually a way of pilgrimage too, is like bringing, what we've learned from the field back to the home temple. So that's part of it. But for me, also going to Japan and paying respect and homage and pilgrimage to Dogen in particular, because I've always felt this since I was a teenager, this deep connection to his path, because in particular, he, what we know of his life is that he lost both of his parents. Some say that he was, didn't know his father, and then his mother died when he was a kid, and really learning how to, it would have been so easy for him to say like, oh, this life is so hard, like I don't have anybody and I'm a little kid, and there was something in him that propelled him forward, that he wanted to understand the path and how, as he talks about in Instructions to the Cook, one of these amazing pieces of his writing, where learning how to settle into the way. So I felt like that he wanted to learn how to settle into the path. And so I felt this incredible resonance with him, because also I struggle in my own version, not the same version, of course. And so that tenderness that I feel for him, and continuously also, he was not well liked and not really appreciated, and he just kept going. Like he didn't care about being liked. Maybe he did, we don't know, but we know that he was not so popular and kept going. And I felt like that's so inspiring. Imagine if you're not being fed and ruled by being liked so much. And so then it was so wonderful. And then he just kept going and kept going. And so the first place that he established as a temple, a training temple, is still there today, and it's called Koshoji, and it's right outside of Kyoto in this beautiful town called Uji, which is where it's famous for growing matcha tea, which is delicious.
Very cool.
And actually, in honor, I have a little matcha from Uji tonight.
Oh, nice. Very good for you, right? Matcha tea.
And delicious. But so to be there felt very, it's the second time that we've gone there to make offerings and to practice there. And it's this very kind of unusual and kind of funky monastery with these incredibly gnarled, very old plum trees. And so one of the great parts of going there in February is that that's when the plum trees bloom. And it's one of the reasons why, in particular in practice, they're really appreciated for that kind of thought to be the courageous practitioner. And so these gnarled, really strange, like trees bloom these magnificent, then they feel courageous, like boom, these amazing blooms. And so the courtyard of Koshoji is filled with these and surrounded by these plum trees with these gorgeous blooms. And we got to practice with the monks there, and to eat meals and to sleep and to do work practice and chant and do zazen in these halls and to me is very tender to be in that place that Dogen founded. And then, of course, then he went on to found Eihei-ji. But I think to me, it's how do we live our lives in a way that is in accord with our values? And one of the values that's so important to me is, of course, the first paramita in Buddhism, which is dana paramita, which is generosity. And so for me, pilgrimage and appreciation of the lineage is a form, to me, a key part of generosity and that kind of giving and receiving equally. And I feel so nourished by him each day as I study his words and reflect on them in my own life. And so it's very exciting to me I feel, when I was there, I feel quite very enlivened, and I think that how do we keep these things alive? And it doesn't, to me, matter what Dogen said per se, but how do I live and take those teachings in and really work with them myself? So in our center, we study Dogen quite a bit, but we really study it in a way with like really trying to get clear about what that has to do with your life and how do you take these teachings, even a line in, to practice with for a week. So it's very lively.